Hi friends, welcome to SR Knowledge Center. Now we are going to discuss on the new topic animal nutrition. Nutrition. So what is nutrition? The process of intaking the food and utilization of food is called nutrition. So whatever we take food and utilizes to our body gives us the nutrition. So you all know that the food contains the nutrients. So what is nutrient? So here comes the definition is that the different component of food that have distinct functions like providing energy, materials for bodybuilding, maintenance and regulation of metabolism are called nutrients. And the various nutrients are the proteins, minerals, vitamins, carbohydrates and fats. Proteins are the building blocks of the body, so it develops the body mass, whereas the minerals, vitamins and carbohydrates provides energy to the body, and the fats is the reserved food that is stored in the body, and it also provides the maximum energy. And the types of nutrition is of two types: autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition. So, what is autotrophic nutrition? Autotrophic nutrition is that the organisms which prepare their own food material from their inorganic raw materials is called autotrophic nutrition. And the organisms performing this autotrophic nutrition are called autotrophs. For example, plants. Plants are the autotrophs which prepare their own food material from the process of photosynthesis. Here you can see in the figure that the autotrophs makes their own food by the process of photosynthesis. And here comes the next type of the nutrition is that the heterotrophic nutrition. And the heterotrophic nutrition also includes the three types of nutrition, that is the saprophytic nutrition or saprotrophic nutrition, and next one is the parasitic nutrition, and next third one is the holozoic nutrition. And the meaning of the heterotrophic nutrition is that the organisms which depend upon the other organisms or other organic materials for food is called the heterotrophic nutrition, and the organisms which perform the heterotrophic nutritions are called the heterotrophs. Here first type of the heterotrophic nutrition is that the saprophytic nutrition, and it is a mode of heterotrophic nutrition in which the saprophytes depend upon the organic remains for food, like that of dead organisms, excreta, fallen leaves, broken twigs, food articles, etc. is called the saprophytic nutrition. The organisms which perform the saprophytic nutrition are called the saprophytes, and in this figure you can see the saprophytes that obtain the food from the dead leaves which is fallen on the ground. So these are the saprophytes. And the next one is the parasitic nutrition. It is also a mode of heterotrophic nutrition. In this, one living organism depends upon the another living organism for its food and shelter. So this is called the parasitic nutrition. And it is a relationship of parasite and host. The living organism which obtains the food and shelter from the other organism is called the parasite, and the organism which provides food and shelter to the parasite is called the host. For example, you can see the external plant parasite, that is Cuscuta. It is also called amarbel. It is a non-green plant that sends its hastoria or the sucking roots into the host plant for obtaining food and shelter. In this figure, you can see the Cuscuta plant has twined the branch of the host for its food and shelter. And here you can see the whole plant of the Cuscuta that flourished onto the host plant. This is called the parasitic nutrition. Third type of the heterotrophic nutrition is that the holozoic nutrition. So what is holozoic nutrition? It is a mode of heterotrophic nutrition, and it involves the intake of solid pieces of food. The food that contains another animal or plant or its parts, anything. And it is also called the ingestive nutrition. Depending upon the source of food, holozoic organisms are of the three types. Those are the herbivores, carnivores or omnivores. First type of holozoic nutrition is that the herbivores. Herbivores means it is a term that herba means plant, ora means to eat. So the plant eating animals is called the herbivores. They are holozoic organisms which feed on plant or its parts. If for example you can see that in this figure you can see the list of herbivorous animals that eats only the plant and its parts as the food material. So they are called the herbivores. Next one is the carnivores. These are the animals which feed on other animals. Carnivores are also called the predators because they hunt, kill and feed on their prey. For example, you can see the list of carnivorous animals that feed on other animals for their food. And the last one is the omnivores. Omnis means all, orar means to eat, and these are the holozoic organisms which feed on both plant and animal materials. In this figure, you can see all the list of the omnivorous animals which feed on both plant and animals. And these are all the three types of holozoic organisms which are discussed. And the next one is nutrition in amoeba. So here, what is amoeba? Amoeba is a single-celled eukaryotic organism that has no definite shape and that moves by means of pseudopodia. Here pseudopodia literally means false feet. And the nutrition in amoeba is that it ingests the food particles from any point of its surface. The amoeba captures the food with the help of the pseudopodia. And if you take the another protozoan like paramecium, it ingests the food particles from the fixed points. Do you know how this paramecium ingests food particles into it? This paramecium have small hair-like processes called cilia. Beating of cilia creates current in water that pushes the food particle through system or cell mouth. And the process of ingestion of solid food particle by a cell or the unicellular organism is called phagocytosis. And whereas in amoeba, if amoeba comes in contact with the food particle or any prey, like this it is shown in the figure, it throws pseudopodia on all around the prey. The tips of encircling the pseudopodia fuse and prey comes to lie in a vesicle or phagosome. This method of intake of food is called circumvallation. And the amoeba can also ingest food by other methods like import, circumfluence and invagination. And the next one is the digestive system of human. Digestive system is the place where the nutrition takes place in all the higher animals. So what is digestive system? Digestive system is a group of organs and associated digestive glands that take part in ingestion, digestive absorption of food and digestion of undigestible matter is the definition of the digestive system. And the digestive organs form a continuous canal called the alimentary canal. Alimentary canal in man is 9 meters long and consists of the following parts. The first part is the mouth. Mouth is a transverse slit-like aperture in which we can ingest the food particles. And the next part is the oral cavity. It is bounded by lips and has cheeks, gum, teeth and tongue in which we can chew the food and take into the alimentary canal. The food taken inside the oral cavity is masticated, that is mechanically broken into smaller particles before being swallowed. The floor of the buccal cavity has a tongue bearing taste buds. Man possesses teeth on both the jaws that are 32 teeth of 4 different types. Those are incisors, canines, premolars and molars. You can see the dental formula, that is arrangement of teeth. In the upper jaw is the 16 and the lower jaw is the 16. And you can see the types of teeth like incisors, canines, premolars and molars which are arranged in the buccal cavity. The next part of the oral cavity is the pharynx. Pharynx is a short conical region that lies after the mouth cavity. The next part of the pharynx is the esophagus. Esophagus is a long, narrow muscular tube which leads to the stomach. When the food is swallowed, the food passes through this tube and enters into the stomach, and no digestive gland is present in the esophagus. Next to the esophagus is the stomach. In which the food passes through the esophagus settles in the stomach. Stomach is a J-shaped structure that is present below the diaphragm, which is left to the abdominal cavity. And the next part after the stomach is the small intestine. If we look into the matter of the small intestine is the convoluted tube and differentiated into the 3 regions. Those are the duodenum, jejunum and ileum. And this is the duodenum, which is a curved and C-shaped structure. This is the first part of the small intestine. And the next part of the small intestine which is present below the duodenum is the jejunum, which is comparatively longer and more coiled. And ileum is the last part of the small intestine whose inner surface is folded to form villi. And the function of the small intestine is that it absorbs the products of digestion. And next to the small intestine is the large intestine. It is much shorter and wider than small intestine and is differentiated into 3 regions. Those are the cecum, colon and rectum. And if you see in the figure, this is the large intestine where the cecum is located here, and this is all the colon, and the rectum is located here. If you see, the first part of the large intestine is the cecum, which is a small round blind sac-like structure where the vermiform appendix arises. And the next one is the colon. Colon is the inverted U-tube like structure, and it is differentiated as the ascending colon, transverse colon, descending colon, and the sigmoid colon. And the last part of the large intestine is the rectum. Rectum opens to the exterior through anus. And here it comes is that no digestion takes place in the large intestine, only absorption of water takes place. In herbivores like a horse, rabbit, digestion of cellulose takes place in cecum. And the next one is the absorption. How absorption takes place? In the small intestine, that is in the part of the ileum, absorption of all digested materials takes place. After the absorption, the main role played by the digestive system is the assimilation. Assimilation is the process of utilization of absorbed food for various body functions. The absorbed nutrients that are utilized to resynthesize the complex molecules like carbohydrates, fats, proteins that inside the cells. And the another important thing is that man cannot digest cellulose because actually the cellulose is present in the grasses. Only the herbivores can have the ability to digest the cellulose, but the man cannot digest the cellulose. And after assimilation is the process called digestion. So what is digestion? Digestion is the process of elimination of undigested food formed in the cells or in the lumen of the large intestine, that is in the colon and rectum, and it is sent out through the anus. How it is sent? The process is by the voluntary contraction of the abdominal muscles, helps in the digestion of the fecal matter. These are the 5 stages of food processing. The first one is the ingestion. Ingestion is the taking in of nutrients. And the next one is the digestion. Digestion is the using the physical and chemical means to break down complex organic molecules into the smaller usable parts. And the next comes the absorption. Absorption is the pulling in digested molecules into the cells of the digestive tract, then into the blood. And next the assimilation. Assimilation is the absorption of nutrients by each cell of the body in the form of energy. And the last one is the digestion. Digestion is the removal of waste food materials from the body. These are the 5 stages of food processing. And here is the list of digestive enzymes with their secretion and end products of digestion in human beings. The first one is the name of the gland and its secretion, where the site of action takes place and the enzymes involved in it, and the food that acts upon, and the end product. The first one is the salivary gland. Salivary glands, saliva is secreted in the buccal cavity, and the enzymes are the salivary amylase. And the food acts upon is the starch. The end product of this is the maltose. And the next one is the gastric glands. In these gastric glands, gastric juices and HCl is secreted, and the site of action takes place in the stomach. The enzymes involved in this are pepsin and renin. In pepsin, the proteins it acts upon the proteins, and renin, casein of milk, and pepsinogen. And the end product of the proteins is that peptones and proteases. And for the casein of milk, paracasein, and for the pepsinogen, pepsin is the end product. And next is the liver. In liver, bile juice is secreted in the duodenum. No enzymes are involved in it, and the food that acts upon is the fats. The end product of this liver is the emulsification of fats. And the next gland is the pancreas. In this, the pancreatic juice is secreted in the duodenum. The enzymes involved in this are amylase, trypsin, and lipase. The food that acts upon is the starch and glycogen, proteins, and emulsified fats. The end product of this is the maltose and isomaltose, peptones and peptides, fatty acids, and glycerol. And the last one is the intestinal glands. In this, the intestinal juice and mucus is secreted. In the site of action takes place in the intestinal juice is secreted in the small intestine, whereas the mucus in the large intestine. The enzymes involved in the small intestine are the erepsin, maltase, sucrase, lactase, and lipase, whereas in the large intestine no enzymes are involved. The food that acts upon is the peptones, peptides, maltose, sucrose, lactose, triglycerides, whereas in the large intestine lubrication of fecal matter only. And the end product of this small intestine is that the amino acids glucose and fructose, glucose and galactose, monoglycerides, and fatty acids, whereas for the Large intestine, no end product is formed. This is the list of digestive enzymes with their secretion and end products of digestion to that of the digestive glands. That's all the topic. If you like my explanation, please subscribe, share, like and comment to SR Knowledge Center.